couple of things. Firstly, apologise to my regular subscribers because this probably won't mean nothing to you. And second thing, all you Vespa GTS owners out there, if you do decide to try this modification of the side stand, on your own head be it. If you don't maim yourself or take an eye out taking the springs on and off, you'll probably ride away with the side stand down and kill yourself. So entirely up to you. This is what I've done. If you decide to do it, on your head be it. So standard with the side stand spring on its standard mounting point, which is behind the pivot point of the stand springs up all the time, and that's where the problem lies. That's why these scooters fall over, because the side stand self-retracts. The reason they do this is Piaggio would have to put a kill switch, which they've done on the 2017 models, underneath, so that you couldn't ride with that side stand down. More electrics, more hassle, so that's why they do it like this. And this is why all the scooters fall over, because they do this. So that's with the standard setup, and it's because the spring mounts behind the pivot point, so it's naturally pulling that stand back up all the time. Right, so with the modification I do, there's no magic to it. It's not a black art, all very simple. Basically, I move the top spring mounting point in front of the pivot point, so when you pull the side stand down, it stays down, and then you have to actually physically retract it. So that's done simply because, or it works like that simply because the mounting point is now in front of the pivot point for the spring. So that's all I do. And what I'll do, I'll show you the other side, what I use, and where you have to drill. Right, so now you can see this is the original spring mounting point. This is the new one I've put in. When the stand closes up, it still stays up, still solid, never no trouble with it dropping down. But because this top spring mount point is in front of the pivot point, it now holds it down. When the spring's on here, it's naturally pulling it back all the time. Now all I do is use this little kit I make up. I drill a hole through here and bolt that through. The only thing you've got to be careful of, at the back here, you need to make sure where you're drilling the hole, you've got enough room for the nut, access to the nut at the back. And also I've found if you set this sort of fractionally lower than this one, it allows the spring, the spring just touches the old mounting point, but it's not pulling the spring out of shape. So basically just drill a hole, bolt that in. So all I use is a high tensile M6 by 50mm screw. Wind a nylock on, so that's where your spring will clip, just on there. I use a little bit of stainless tube as a spacer. That's 6mm inside diameter hole, 8mm diameter on the outside, so that butts up against the frame, and then a nylock on the other side to secure it. You can, if you haven't got a bit of stainless tube, you can do away with that and just fit another nut here. So this then clamps through your bracket on the frame and your spring goes on there. And if you're not from the UK, you probably won't understand the 6 toes. I won't try and explain. Suffice to say, I have got a little bit of maintenance to do. Look, chipped a toenail. Oh no.